What's going on, live stream people? It has been a while, but I am back. Kyle Yates here, of course. I'll be with you for the next hour answering your start sit questions. It's been a while. Like I said, last Sunday, out feeling under the weather. Dan graciously stepped in. And then this week, my son's daycare shut down because of a positive COVID test. So I was on dad duty Tuesday and Thursday, so wasn't able to do the live streams there. But I am back. We got to get ready for these matchups. We've got some great football on the TV this week. And of course, the fantasy football playoffs are right around the corner. So we got to make sure that you are ready and roaring to go. So here we go. I'm going to rip through some of these inactives and the actives here, guys, before we get into your questions. Of course, want to make take as much time as I can to get through all those. So I'm going to tear through these. Okay, so not expected to play. Sam Darnold, quarterback for the New York Jets. I think he's been confirmed ruled out. So just he's not playing. Joe Flacco will start again this week. Downgrade for these receiving weapons here. Jamison Crowder is really the only one that you want to be looking at. Joe Mixon finally put on IR after this weird foot issue that he's been having. So Giovanni Bernard will get the start again here. I have Giovanni Bernard at 19 in my running back rankings this week, so you can start him. I think he'll bring a safe floor, but up against Washington here, I don't think it's the best matchup where I'm super excited to plug him into my lineup. Laviska Shenault ruled out. Drew Brees, of course, ruled out. We will see Taysom Hill as the starting quarterback here in New Orleans against the Atlanta Falcons this week. Drew Brees with 11 rib fractures. I'm not a medical professional, really don't know much about the anatomy in the human body. I didn't even know we had 11 ribs. So here we go. 11 rib fractures. He's out. He landed on IR as well. Adam Humphries still recovering from that concussion. He's ruled out. DeAndre Swift, a late addition to the injury report this past week, and he's out for this one with a concussion as well. We don't know exactly when this concussion happened, but he is out for this game. Adrian Peterson and Kerryon Johnson will step in. AP lands at RB24 in my half PPR rankings, so he can be started as a low-end running back too. And then Kerryon Johnson should see the receiving down work here. He's a high-end RB3 in my rankings. I think you can get away starting Kerryon Johnson this week as well. Danny Amendola, Kenny Golladay, both wide receivers for the Detroit Lions. They are ruled out. You're going to see Marvin Jones. You're going to see Quintez Cephas, and you should see Mohamed Sanu in this one as well. Really, the only one that you want to be looking at here is Marvin Jones, and he's a mid-range wide receiver 3 for me with a little bit of upside, but there's just a lot of unknowns here, even with Matthew Stafford, who is expected to play, he didn't practice all week, dealing with a thumb injury there, so there's a lot of unknowns there, and that's baked into my ranking of Marvin Jones. Christian McCaffrey, of course, not playing this week. Teddy Bridgewater, this was really interesting about a half hour ago. Came out that he is active, expected to play. Nope, he is not expected to play. He will be the emergency quarterback. Oh, wait, no, he's not active. So Teddy Bridgewater is out of this game. You're going to see P.J. Walker get the start here against Detroit. This is a downgrade for all of the Panthers' receiving weapons here. Really not excited about any of them. Robbie Anderson is a low-end wide receiver 2 for me. DJ Moore, a mid-range wide receiver 3, and Curtis Samuel, a flex play. I'm really not. There's a lot of unpredictability here, and if I have some safer options, I'm going to be looking their way. And then Sammy Watkins looked like he was trending towards playing this week. He is not going to. You're going to see a lot of Tyreek Hill against the Las Vegas Raiders. Game time decision here, N'Keal Harry, doesn't matter for fantasy purposes. You're not playing him. Expected to play Damian Harris, again with the New England Patriots. There were question marks about whether he was going to be able to suit up in this game. He is expected to play. And then we also got news just recently that Sony Michel will be inactive for this game, even though he was brought up to the active roster. So the concern here with Damian Harris this week in a fantastic matchup was, well, what is the workload going to be like here with Sony Michel? And now we have clarity here that Damian Harris is going to receive the majority of the work on the ground. I really like Harris in this matchup. I have him at RB16 on the week. He doesn't bring much upside with his lack of involvement in the receiving game, but yet he's someone that you can comfortably roll out into your starting lineup this week. Drew Lock is expected to play. You should see a ton of passing volume here for the Denver Broncos receivers. Noah Fant is expected to play as well. He can be started as a mid-range tight end 1 this week. Irv Smith, the tight end for the Minnesota Vikings. If you are in need of a streaming option, I think you can look Irv Smith's way, but really not excited about it. You're just hoping that he finds the end zone. Again, just as a streaming option there. Allen Lazard is expected to play this week. You're going to have Devontae Adams and Allen Lazard on the field in a tough matchup here. So Lazard is a flex play in my rankings here. I'm not super excited about him his first week back, But if you want that boom potential, I think you can roll out Allen Lazard as a solid flex play this week. And then I mentioned Matthew Stafford is expected to play. Before we move on to your questions, guys, I got to just say, if you're watching this and you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please take the 2 seconds out of your day, hit that subscribe button. Also hit the like button on this video. Helps us out in a huge way as well. And then you can find and follow me on Twitter at Kyle Y NFL. Let's get to your questions. I'm pulling up some of these here. Let's go with Ezekiel Elliott or Mike Davis for the flex. I'm going to play Mike Davis. I mentioned PJ Walker as the starting quarterback this week, but in a great matchup here against the Detroit Lions defense. I think that they're going to try to lean on the run game as much as they can, and I think that Mike Davis should see plenty of work out of the backfield. I'll go with Mike Davis there. Lev Bell or Samaje Perine for your running back 2, you're really desperate. Yes, you are. If you were looking at Le'Veon Bell or Samaje Perine, both these guys are backup running backs, so I'm not expecting much at all. It is really a flip of the coin here. I'll play Lev Bell just because it's a better matchup. Yeah, I'll play Lev Bell there just because it's a better matchup, but I'm not expecting anything more than like 7 touches for Lev Bell here, so you're really hoping that he finds the end zone somehow. Let's move on here. Full PPR, Ronald Jones or Adrian Peterson. I will play Ronald Jones here. It does not in a full PPR because I don't think Adrian Peterson's going to be involved at all out of the backfield as a receiver. Ronald Jones should see some work. It's a risky play. Both of them are. But I think Ronald Jones, from what we saw last week, even after fumbling, he was the main running back moving forward in that game. So I think we can start him with confidence this week, right? So Ronald Jones lands just above Adrian Peterson in my rankings. I would start Ronald Jones. In the standard flex, DJ Moore, T. Higgins, or Mike Davis. I will play Mike Davis there. Even though it's a standard league, I think T. Higgins up against a tougher matchup here with the Washington secondary, and DJ Moore has the quarterback situation now. I'll play Mike Davis there. Justin Jefferson or Giovanni Bernard in standard. This all depends on what you need. Really just what you need. Do you need the big blow-up potential? Then I think you play Justin Jefferson there. If you're projected to lose by a ton, then I think you swing for the fences and you play Justin Jefferson. Fantastic matchup. The concern with Jefferson and Thielen this week is that Dalvin Cook just goes off against the Dallas Cowboys run defense, and they only throw the ball 18 times, right? We've seen it happen. So that's the concern with Justin Jefferson. If Minnesota is smart, they'll lean on the matchup and they'll feature Justin Jefferson. I just don't know if they're going to do that with their offensive philosophy in the way that Dalvin Cook has been looking lately. So there is some risk there with Justin Jefferson. If we didn't have those questions, Justin Jefferson would be a top 8 wide receiver in my rankings. Giovanni Bernard, you know that he's going to give you a safe floor. You know that he's going to get work. It's just a matter of what can he do with it. So I think if you want the safe play, then Giovanni Bernard. If you want the big blow-up potential, then you play Justin Jefferson. Start Mike Davis or Antonio Gibson. That is a good question. Both of those guys are pretty close in my rankings. I have Mike Davis at 8. I have Antonio Gibson at 9. I will give the slight edge there to Mike Davis because of I think that they're going to try to lean into the run game as much as they can. So I will play Mike Davis there over Antonio Gibson, but I really do like both of them. Go with your gut there. James Robinson, Nick Chubb, Mike Davis, which 2 in a full PPR. I will play Nick Chubb and Mike Davis this week. Nick Chubb, even though he has a tougher matchup here against Philadelphia, I think that he can still see enough work to return enough value. James Robinson, really tough matchup here against the Pittsburgh Steelers run defense. So, and I think that Jake Luton's going to be under pressure all game long. They're going to send the Steelers are one of the most heavy blitz teams in the NFL. So I think they're going to try to just wreak havoc on this Jaguars offense. I'm not expecting great things here from James Robinson, and also limited in practice this week. So that's a concern. I'll play Nick Chubb and Mike Davis. Half PPR, pick 2, Robert Woods, Chris Godwin, and CEH. I will play Robert Woods and Chris Godwin there. CEH, we just don't have a guarantee that he's going to see more than 10 touches in this game. He can certainly find the end zone, but I think with the matchup here, you have to be concerned that, or with the offensive philosophy, like, they'll throw the ball 40 times and only run it 10 times, like that between the two running backs. So when you have a lower running game, volume running game, and you're splitting the work with Le'Veon Bell, that's not a guarantee. It's a great matchup. All signs point to starting CEH, but with the offensive philosophy here, I mean, why wouldn't you throw the ball 40 times a game? You have Patrick Mahomes. So, yeah, I'll go with Robert Woods there and Chris Godwin. Both of them are low-end wide receiver 2s in my rankings, so, but I'm going to choose the safety there, I think, with both of those guys over the unknowns with CEH. Jared Goff, Alex Smith, or Carson Wentz. In that situation, I will play Carson Wentz. I'm not going anywhere near Jared Goff this week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense, and Alex Smith has done, I mean, yes, he's throwing the ball a ton, like 50 pass attempts a game, but yet, or 50 pass attempts last week, but man, I just don't want to trust him. Carson Wentz, I don't want to trust him either, but based on the other options, I'll go with the matchup there and the receiving weapons that he has. All right. In full PPR, pick 2, McKissick, Ballage, and Giovanni Bernard. In full PPR, I will play J.D. McKissick, and I will play Kalen Ballage. Saying that I will play Kalen Ballage just feels wrong, but yet, man, he's seeing the work, and back-to-back revenge games here for Kalen Ballage. So, also seeing quite a bit of work out of the backfield as a receiver. So, I will play, excuse me, guys, I will play McKissick and Ballage here over Giovanni Bernard. I don't know if he has the upside that Kalen Ballage does in this matchup. Half PPR, sit 1, Damian Harris, J.D. McKissick, or Zeke. In that situation, I will sit J.D. McKissick. I have him a little bit further down in my rankings. I think that, we can't comfortably predict 14, 15 targets every single week. So I will go with Damian Harris, who I think is going to see a ton of work in a great matchup. And Zeke, this offense should see a little bit of a step forward with Andy Dalton back at quarterback. So I'll play Zeke and Damian Harris. I have them both above J.D. McKissick in my rankings, although I do like J.D. McKissick this week. Right. Should I start Kirk Cousins or Alex Smith? Pedro asks. I will start Kirk Cousins there. Again, he comes with the risk that he only throws the ball 18 times. That's just not going to get it done for fantasy football. But yet, with the matchup here, I'm going to lean into that a little bit more. And the receiving weapons, right? Like, if all it takes is just 1 or 2 touchdowns, or 1 or 2, 1 or 2 touchdowns to Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, to be able to surpass Alex Smith, who I don't think is going to throw for 3 touchdowns, right? He could throw for 300 yards, but it's not going to be the same. So I'll play Kirk Cousins there. But again, both those guys are like low-end QB2s for me. Not really excited about either one. They both come with question marks. In a full PPR, Nyheim Hines or CeeDee Lamb. I will play CeeDee Lamb this week. Nyheim Hines, yes, the report came out earlier today that he's expected to see the majority of the touches and the majority, in this backfield. Who knows, right? Who absolutely knows with this backfield? So CeeDee Lamb, the last time that Andy Dalton played a full game, CeeDee Lamb saw 11 targets, and he was just heavily featured. So I think you can roll out CeeDee Lamb this week over Nyheim Hines if you want to play it a little bit more safe. Now, I don't think Lamb has huge blow-up potential. Nyheim Hines does in this matchup if he gets the majority of the work, but that's no guarantee. So I personally would be playing CeeDee Lamb over Nyheim Hines. If you want to play Hines over Lamb, I'm not going to fight you on that. I personally would be playing Lamb, though. Nyheim Hines or Kalen Ballage. I will play Kalen Ballage there. Jacoby Myers or Jamison Crowder. I will play Jacoby Myers there. Jamison Crowder with Joe Flacco at quarterback. Not super confident in him. So Jacoby Myers, I don't think the Patriots are going to have to throw the ball a ton in this one, but he should see all the targets on the ones that they do. So, yeah, I'll play Jacoby Myers. He's been playing great recently. I have Boyd and Higgins, and should I start Aaron Rodgers or Joe Burrow? I do have Aaron Rodgers ranked above Joe Burrow this week. I have Burrow just inside my top 12, I believe, or just outside. I've met 13, and then I have Aaron Rodgers at 8. So even in a tough matchup, you're looking at Aaron Rodgers now having Devontae Adams, Allen Lazard on the field. I think you can comfortably roll out Aaron Rodgers. I wouldn't feel comfortable sitting Aaron Rodgers. Let me just phrase it that way. So I think, yeah, you got to start Aaron Rodgers over Joe Burrow this week. Jacoby Myers or is it T. Higgins or Rashard Higgins? If it is T. Higgins, I will play him. If it is Rashard Higgins, I'll play Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers, Duke Johnson, or Savon Ahmed in half PPR. I will play Duke Johnson there. Should see a ton of work in this one. Savon Ahmed, I really, really like, obviously, but he comes with the questions now with Matt Breida. back, okay, what does this backfield look like as far as, the carry splits? What is Breida's involvement? We saw this coaching staff bring in Matt Breida earlier on this offseason with a trade. And so they could be really, really excited about Breida, looking to get him involved, and that is just going to eat into Savon Ahmed's workload. So I'll play Duke Johnson there. He has no competition behind him on the depth chart, so I'll play the safe. I'll play it safe there. Start one of these wide receivers, T. Higgins, Robbie Anderson, or Brandon Cooks. I am personally going to be starting, I think it's T. Higgins there, but I'm going to double check that. Yeah, I have T. Higgins at 18. I have Brandon Cooks at 27 this week, and then I have Robbie Anderson at 22. So I will play T. Higgins there. He's done nothing for us to doubt him, and I think that he can come through even in this tough matchup. So yeah, I'll play T. Higgins there over those other two options. Aaron Jones or Derrick Henry in full PPR. The full PPR changes that slightly, makes it a little bit more close, but with Calais Campbell and Brandon Williams, the defensive linemen from the Baltimore Ravens, both out this game, those are two huge pieces of the... I'm just choked on air. Those are two huge pieces of their run game that are now out. So I think with Derrick Henry, they're going to be able to just lean on the run game. And I think that Derrick Henry's in line for a huge game. Aaron Jones is not seeing the majority of he is seeing the majority of the work, but he's not seeing a ton of work, in this offense with Jamal Williams now. So I think that in a tough matchup too, you got to downgrade Aaron Jones slightly. He's still a must-start option, but yet in comparison to Derrick Henry, I personally would be starting Derrick Henry. Here's a question that we didn't think we would be getting. Week 1 of the 2020 NFL season. In a full PPR, James Conner or Kalen Ballage? Man, I will play James Conner still. Great matchup. You're just hoping that he finds the end zone. He has not looked himself recently. Not super impressed with his lack of explosion, anything like that. He's just not looking the same. And Pittsburgh has just been able to lean on the run game or on the passing game. So with Conner though, I still think that you got to start him over Kalen Ballage. I'll go James Conner there, but it's definitely closer of a conversation than we ever anticipated that it would be. Duke Johnson, Nyheim Hines, J.D. McKissick, pick 2 in a PPR. I will play Duke Johnson and J.D. McKissick in that situation. Nyheim Hines, I've mentioned, he just has a wide range of outcomes. We've seen him do this. We've seen him explode for multiple scores and then disappear the next week. So until I see this coaching staff put together put Nyheim Hines on the field for the majority of snaps multiple weeks in a row, that's when I'll buy in. That's when I'll say, okay, we can comfortably roll out Nyheim Hines as a solid option now. Otherwise, until then, he has a potential to really hurt your fantasy lineup. So I'll go with Duke Johnson and J.D. McKissick, who I know are going to see the workload and the volume here, versus Nyheim Hines, who could leave me with 5 fantasy points, right? You just never know. Standard format, pick 2, Deontay Johnson, T. Higgins, Antonio Brown, Brandon Cooks, DJ Chark. Jeez, okay. Deontay Johnson for sure. I have all 3 Steelers wide receivers inside my top 12. If not, I think they're right around there. Otherwise, then I will probably go with T. Higgins. I'll go with Deontay Johnson and T. Higgins there. Those are my 2 highest ranked wide receivers out of that group. In a flex PPR, T. Higgins or Travis Fulgham. A lot of T. Higgins questions. I will play Higgins in that situation. Teddy is out. Should I still start Anderson? I mentioned this in the going through the inactives and actives, but with Robbie Anderson, I'm a little bit further down on him than I think that I would be if Bridgewater played. Just a lot of unknowns here. So Robbie Anderson I have as a low-end wide receiver too. I think you can still get away with starting him. I think P.J. Walker is going to lean on him if out of any of the receivers, but just a lot of unknowns here. So yeah, all depends on who else you have on your roster. But I still think that you can still start Anderson, but you can't be expecting anywhere near the type of production that you had with Teddy in. Start T. Higgins over Tyler Boyd. I have Tyler Boyd at 17, and I have T. Higgins at 18. So really close. I would personally play Boyd over Higgins, but if you want to go with Higgins over Boyd, again, it's a flip of the coin. I have them within 1 spot of my rankings. Let's find some new questions. Juju Smith-Schuster or Todd Gurley. I will play Juju Smith-Schuster there. Again, mention that I've got all 3 Steelers wide receivers ranked very highly. Full PPR, Chase Claypool or Will Fuller. Will Fuller should have Stephon Gilmore lining up against him in this game as far as shadowing him. So not super excited about Will Fuller. I still think that you can start him, of course. But yet, in comparison to Chase Claypool, I will play Claypool there. Full PPR, Justin Jefferson or Robbie Anderson. I will play Justin Jefferson there. Full PPR flex, Josh Reynolds or Rex Burkhead. I don't want to trust Rex Burkhead just yet. He's put together a couple solid back-to-back performances here. Josh Reynolds, of course, has been seeing a ton of targets in this offense. So I think you can start Josh Reynolds, but tough matchup here. Not super excited to do so. I'll give the slight edge there actually to Rex Burkhead. I'll continue to just ride the hot hand here, and I'll go with Rex Burkhead and hope that he continues to see the majority of the workload out of the backfield as a receiver. So, yeah, I'll go with Rex Burkhead. Full PPR, pick 2, Giovanni Bernard, Ezekiel Elliott, or James Conner. I will go with Ezekiel Elliott and James Conner there. Not super excited to play both of those guys, but not excited to play Giovanni Bernard either in this matchup. So I'll lean into the matchup game here, and I'll play Ezekiel Elliott and James Conner. Sit 1.5 PPR, Tyler Boyd, Cooper Kupp, Duke Johnson, or CEH. If I have to sit one of them, I'm gonna sit CEH. Even though it is a fantastic matchup, we just have no guarantee that the Chiefs are going to even give him 10 touches in this game. So I think if they're smart, they will. But obviously, they're smarter than we give them credit for. Obviously, they're throwing with Patrick Mahomes in 45 times a game, and they're winning. So it's working for them. So from a fantasy perspective, we want them to utilize CEH. It's just not going to happen. So I think I'll sit CEH there. I know that Tyler Boyd, Cooper Kupp, Duke Johnson, they're going to see their work. It might not turn into a ton with the matchup here with Cooper Kupp up against Tampa Bay, but yet I still feel safe starting him over CEH. Nyheim Hines or Mike Evans in the flex. In that situation, I'll swing for the fences because it is my flex spot. With Nyheim Hines, obviously we talked about it, has huge boom potential. With Mike Evans, he should be shadowed by Jalen Ramsey in this game. So I think that with Mike Evans, I am not expecting a ton. I mean, he can still be a safe option. I still have him within my top 36 wide receivers, but yet I don't think that he's going to give you a 7-catch, 100-plus yards and a score lining up across from Jalen Ramsey. So I'll go with I'll swing for the fences there with Nyheim Hines. Brashad Perryman or Antonio Brown or MVS. I will play Antonio Brown in that situation. I don't want to play MVS with Allen Lazard back in the lineup, and I don't want to play Brashad Perryman any given week. Full PBR flex spot, Nyheim Hines or Melvin Gordon. I will play Nyheim Hines there. Melvin Gordon has done next to nothing for you recently. I don't think he can go anywhere near your starting lineup. Full PBR pick 2, Brandon Cooks, DJ Chark, JD McKissick. I will play Cooks and McKissick here. DJ Chark just comes with the unknown here of the quarterback situation. Like I mentioned, the Steelers being one of the most heavy blitz teams in the NFL, they're just going to be able to create havoc against Jake Luton all game long. Not something that I feel super comfortable with. DJ Chark, of course, can hit that big play like we saw a couple weeks ago, but yet I don't want to rely on that. With JD McKissick seeing a ton of work, Brandon Cooks, again, seeing a ton of work too, and I think he has the more favorable cornerback matchup in this game, so Deshaun Watson could be looking his way frequently over someone like Will Fuller. I will play Brandon Cooks and J.D. McKissick there, especially in a full PPR. CEH or Giovanni Bernard in half PPR. I will play CEH in that situation just because I want the upside. Again, I talked about him, like I don't feel like he has a ton of upside, but yet I don't think Giovanni Bernard has upside in this matchup. So I have CEH at 18. I have Giovanni Bernard at 19. So they're in the same range, but yet I'll play the matchup here with CEH and just kind of hope that they give him more than 10 touches. Right. I answered that one. Justin Jefferson or A.J. Brown or Ezekiel Elliott. I'll play Justin Jefferson in that situation over A.J. Brown and Zeke. A.J. Brown, of course, up against Baltimore. Tough wide receiver matchup here, so I'll play Justin Jefferson there. Swing for the fences, play the matchup there. Half PPR, pick 2. Chris Godwin, T. Higgins, Savon Ahmed. I will play Chris Godwin and T. Higgins there. I actually really like Godwin this week. Has a favorable cornerback matchup against Troy Hill out of the slot. So I think that he's going to be, especially when you look at Mike Evans potentially taking away Jalen Ramsey, I think that Brady is going to try to lean on Chris Godwin here. So Godwin and T. Higgins, both really like them. Savon Ahmed, of course, comes with the concerns of what does this offense look like with Matt Breida. So I'll play Godwin and T. Higgins there. Claypool or Ahmed in the flex for half PPR. You got to go Claypool there. Can you answer more difficult questions, please? I'm just reading off the screen, bro. Full PPR, pick 2, Harris, Giovanni Bernard, and James Robinson. Please help. I will play James Robinson there and Damian Harris. I think Giovanni Bernard can give you some more upside with the passing game, but yet I think Harris is going to go off in this matchup. So I'll play Damian Harris there and James Robinson. And Robinson should just see a ton of work on the ground. Please pick 2, Melvin Gordon, Rex Burkhead, Duke Johnson. In full PPR, I will play... I'll play Duke Johnson and Rex Burkhead there. Again, I want to stay far away from Melvin Gordon if I can. PPR, CeeDee Lamb or DJ Moore. I will play CeeDee Lamb in that situation, downgrading DJ Moore with PJ Walker starting. Full PPR flex, Travis Fulgham or Giovanni Bernard. I will play Giovanni Bernard in that situation. I think he brings more safety. I'll play Giovanni Bernard there. Michael Thomas or Amari Cooper in full PPR. I will play Amari Cooper here. I think that with Andy Dalton back in the lineup, Cooper can sustain fantasy value here. So I've got him as a low-end wide receiver 2 in my rankings. I've got Michael Thomas down pretty far here with Taysom Hill. Let's talk about Taysom Hill for a second. A lot of people are going to be looking to play Taysom Hill this week, and I think this is going to be really interesting to just see what this offense looks like. Taysom Hill only has 18 total career pass attempts. So when we are trying to project what the receivers are going to look like for fantasy football, we cannot do that comfortably. This offense is going to try to run the ball as much as they possibly can. I think they're going to try to limit Taysom Hill's ability as a passer or lack of ability as a passer. And so I think Michael Thomas is a really, really risky play this week. I'm just not looking at him this week. I've got him outside my top 30 wide receivers, especially, when you factor in Taysom Hill, 18 career pass attempts. And he's never done it as like a pocket passer, right? He's never been this guy who's been asked to drop back, go through progressions. It's always been gadget plays, right? It's always been just kind of rolling out or on punts or whatever. Like, it's just been really gadget plays that Taysom Hill has been asked to throw the ball. So I'm not super excited about Michael Thomas this week. All that to say. Kareem Hunt or CEH in half PPR. I will play Kareem Hunt there. Should I sit Fulgham due to the rain? It all depends on who else you have, honestly. Fulgham is a flex play for me regardless. So if you have some better options, I personally would be fine sitting Travis Fulgham. Antonio Brown or Jamison Crowder, I will play Antonio Brown in that situation. I will go with the upside because I don't think Joe Flacco has locked on to Crowder. I think he's been looking to spread the ball around. You need to CEH Robert Woods, Kareem Hunt in a full PPR. I will play Kareem Hunt there for sure. And then it's between CEH and Robert Woods. I think I'll play Robert Woods there over CEH. Again, I'm just going to try to go with volume there. And I think that they're going to try to get the ball in Robert Woods' hands, whether it's on the ground, whether it's in the short passing game. I think they're going to try to get him involved. So I'll play Robert Woods and Kareem Hunt there. Rex Burkhead or Savon Ahmed. Oh, but it autocorrected to Salmon Ahmed. I will play Savon Ahmed in that situation still. With Rex Burkhead, he has the potential to explode, but yet Savon Ahmed, I think, he's shown enough that he should still be involved in this game plan. And with the Patriots running backs situation, you just never want to trust it. So I think you can lean into Damian Harris, who should be heavily involved as a runner in a fantastic matchup. Rex Burkhead, I need to see one more week before I confidently roll him into my top 26 running backs. I've got him at 30, I think, and Savon Ahmed at 26. Quarterback help, Tannehill, Tua, or Taysom Hill. A passing TD is worth 6 points. It's the same as a rushing TD, so who's the floor play? If you want the floor play, I think you go with Tua Tagovailoa. With Tannehill, tough matchup here. Not super, super excited about Tannehill this week. Tua's been doing enough to finish as a mid-range QB2. Taysom Hill is just He would be the answer if there was a difference between rushing touchdowns and passing touchdowns. But yet, with that being equal, then I'll play Tua there. But those are pretty close. Crowder, Mike Williams, Devontae Parker. In half PPR, you need 2 of them. I will play Mike Williams and Devontae Parker. Not super excited about Devontae Parker this week, but I think that he gives you enough of a floor that he should be, pretty involved in this offense, in this game plan. Crowder, again, I mentioned it, just Joe Flacco at quarterback, huge unknowns. We don't know what he's going to do. He hasn't really leaned on Crowder the way that, Sam Darnold has previously. So then I will play Mike Williams and Devontae Parker in that situation. A.J. Brown, T. Higgins, or Juju in standard this week. Oh, man. I'll play Juju Smith-Schuster there. I have him a couple spots above A.J. Brown, and then T. Higgins is a little bit further back. So I'll play Juju there. Again, the matchup here against Jacksonville, you got to start your wide receivers, especially these wide receivers. So, yeah, I'll play Juju there. Duke Johnson or Savon Ahmed in full PPR. I will play Duke Johnson there. Please pick 2. Melvin Gordon, Rex Burkhead, and Duke Johnson. I think I answered this one earlier. Rex Burkhead and Duke Johnson for me. Coming from France. Love it. PPR, bench 1. Kalen Ballage, Duke Johnson, Robert Woods, or Jamison Crowder. I will bench Jamison Crowder in that situation. I lost it. Full PPR, pick 2. Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, or Justin Jefferson. Man, super tough. I'll play Deontay Johnson and Chase Claypool. Again, I talked about the concern here with Justin Jefferson is that Dalvin Cook just runs like nobody's business all over Dallas here, and Minnesota only throws the ball 20 times. So that's the concern. You're not going to have that with Pittsburgh with the way that they're leaning on their passing game here. So Deontay Johnson and Claypool for me. Gus Edwards, Curtis Samuel, or Henry Ruggs in a half PPR. Yikes. I'll play Curtis Samuel in that situation. Hope that PJ Walker locks onto him. Gus Edwards with Mark Ingram supposedly back. And then J.K. Dobbins back as well. This is just a situation that you want to avoid as much as you can. So I'll play Curtis Samuel and Henry Ruggs, not involved in this offense whatsoever. You're plugging him in as a pure dart throw that he reels in a deep catch, and I just don't want to live there. So Curtis Samuel there, but again, all these guys are low-end flex plays for me. Marvin Hall or Cam Sims in a half PPR. I'll play Marvin Hall there. Full PPR, need 2. Ronald Jones, Samaje Perine, Gus Edwards, or Michael Pittman Jr. A full PPR, you need 2 of them. I'll play Ronald Jones for sure, and I'll play Pittman. I've read Samaje Perine. I'm assuming that's Michael Perine. Either way, I think you got to go Ronald Jones there and Pittman. Ezekiel Elliott, Antonio Gibson, James Conner, start 2 of them. I will play Antonio Gibson, and then it's super close between... Yeah, I've got James Conner ahead of Ezekiel Elliott this week. I'm just hoping that James Conner finds the end zone. And then with Zeke, I'm hoping that he finds a workload or gets the workload. So I'll go James Conner there. Both those guys have huge question marks, though. But it shows what the running back landscape looks like in fantasy football right now, that both of those guys are at 10 and 12 in my running back rankings. I have Gibson at 9. So Gibson for sure. And then I'll play James Conner. But if you want to lean into the workload there with Zeke, I'm not going to fault you for that. Pick 1 to sit. Duke Johnson, Nyheim Hines, or Giovanni Bernard. I will sit... I'll sit Nyheim Hines there, especially in standard scoring. I'll sit Nyheim Hines there just due to the unknowns. If you want to swing for the fences and you want to play Nyheim Hines, then I'm fine with that. I would sit Giovanni Bernard in that situation. But personally, I can't get on board with Nyheim Hines just yet. I'll play Giovanni Bernard and Duke Johnson. Justin Jefferson or Calvin Ridley in PPR. I will play Calvin Ridley there. Sounds like he's good to go for this matchup. Should be plugged right back into your lineup as a locked-in wide receiver 1 every single week. Michael Pittman Jr. or Jalen Reagor. With Michael Pittman Jr., he's probably going to have to deal with shadow coverage from Jair Alexander this week. Jalen Reagor should draw coverage from Denzel Ward. So some 2 pretty tough matchups here. I'm going to play... Excuse me, guys. Give me 1 second. I'll lean into the target totals with Jalen Reagor here. I think that, yeah, the weather is a concern, but I think that they're going to have to try to move the ball some way. So they're going to have to try to get the ball in Jalen Reagor's hand, in the playmaker's hand. I think that Jair Alexander can limit and take away Michael Pittman Jr. I've said this week, though. If Michael Pittman Jr. emerges from this matchup like victorious, if he puts together a solid performance against Jair Alexander, then it's wheels up. Like, just plug him into your lineup moving forward. This is a cornerback wide receiver matchup that I'm definitely watching this week. Taysom Hill or PJ Walker. Yikes. I will play Taysom Hill there. Half PPR, Tyler Boyd, CEH, or JD McKissick. I will play Tyler Boyd, CEH, or JD McKissick. I will play Tyler Boyd there. It's pretty close, but yeah, I'll give the edge there to Tyler Boyd. Full PPR, which three? Crowder, Jacoby Myers, DJ Moore, Devontae Parker. I will sit the full PPR is tempting there with Jamison Crowder. I'll sit Jamison Crowder. That's close between DJ Moore and Jamison Crowder, but I'll sit Crowder. Full PPR, Hines or Gurley. In a full PPR, I might go Nyheim Hines there, just because Gurley offers very little, if anything, involvement in the receiving game. He has a tough matchup here against the New Orleans Saints run defense, and with he hasn't averaged more than 2.79 yards per carry over the last 4 games. So you're starting to see Brian Hill become more involved. Do we see them coming out of their bye start to lean more on Brian Hill? I mean, Brian Hill hasn't been efficient, but he's more efficient than Todd Gurley. So, man, it's just a gross situation. I have Gurley down at 20 in half PPR rankings. Nyheim Hines at 25 in half PPR rankings. I think those guys would flip in full PPR. Curtis Samuel or Jacoby Myers in the flex. I will play Jacoby Myers in that situation. DJ Chark for the flex help, half PPR. DJ Chark, Giovanni Bernard, or Melvin Gordon. You can also grab Marvin Jones on the waiver wire. I am good playing Giovanni Bernard there if I need the safe option in my flex, if I just know that I've got some risk with the guys that are in my my other spots there. If I want to swing for the fences, then I'll go with DJ Chark there. I don't think you need to go and drop someone I guess you could drop Melvin Gordon for Marvin Jones. Gordon's doing nothing. Absolutely nothing in this offense. They're splitting workload. It's kind of like a CEH and Le'Veon Bell situation, but in a worse offense, right? Like their backs are splitting work here. So, man, I would play DJ Chark there. If I need the upside, I'll play the safe option of Giovanni Bernard. I would have Marvin Jones just slightly below DJ Chark. Mike Evans, Mike Williams, or Curtis Samuel with rushing upside, looking for a boom play in half PPR. If you're looking for the boom play, then you play Mike Williams against the New York Jets secondary. I have Justin Herbert as a top 3 quarterback this week, so I think you can absolutely plug in Mike Williams there if you are looking for the smash upside play. Brady. So Justin says, Brady at night versus the Rams scares me, but Taysom Hill scares me more. Who would you start? I would play Tom Brady there with Taysom Hill. Again, we just don't know. We don't know. If we have clarity next week, then that might be more of a conversation where I can say, okay, yeah, based on what we saw with the offense in week 11, for week 12, we can say, yeah, start Taysom Hill over Tom Brady. But right now, I just want to play it safe. I'll play Tom Brady there. Matt Ryan or Derek Carr. I will play Matt Ryan here. Derek Carr, I do have just outside my top 12 quarterbacks in the week, so I do think you can get away with Derek Carr in this matchup. The last time they played, 347 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. So I think you can start Derek Carr, but yeah, I think you can roll out Matt Ryan a little bit more comfortably. Goddard or Fant this week. I will play Dallas Goddard there, but those guys are super close. I have them, I think, back-to-back in my tight end rankings. They're both mid-range tight end ones. If you want to let the weather play into that, I personally am not, but if you want to let the weather play into that, then I think you can roll with Noah Fant. PPR flex, Michael Thomas or Kalen Ballage. I will start Kalen Ballage there. Again, just mentioned Michael Thomas, not super high on him coming into this game. PPR, I need 2 of them, Calvin Ridley, Deontay Johnson, Nick Chubb. In a full PPR, I will go with the receivers here. I'll go with Calvin Ridley and Deontay Johnson. PPR, sit one Marvin Jones, Ahmed, or Gio. I will sit Savon Ahmed there in that situation. Again, just comes with a little bit more unknown with the running back situation with Matt Breida healthy and active. My allergies are driving me nuts this morning. PPR, Gurley, or Chark. I will play DJ Chark in that situation, especially in a full PPR. Jared Goff or Matthew Stafford. I'm not going anywhere near Jared Goff. I will play Matthew Stafford there. Full PPR, Devontae Parker or DJ Moore. I'll play Devontae Parker there. But both of those guys are... Parker's a mid-range wide receiver 3 for me in my rankings. DJ Moore, a low-end wide receiver 3. Half PPR, James Robinson, James Conner, Duke Johnson. Bench one of them. I will bench Duke Johnson in that situation. But I have all three of those guys as top 15 running backs, so they're all in the same range. But I personally would be benching Duke Johnson. Hayden Hurst or Dallas Goedert. I will play Hayden Hurst there as my gut reaction. So, yeah, I'll play Hayden Hurst there, especially in a full PPR. Half PPR flex, Ronald Jones or Mike Williams. If I want the safe... Calling Ronald Jones safe is not something that I want to do. If I want like the volume play, then I'll go with Ronald Jones in a tougher matchup. But if I want to swing for the fences, if I want to roll out a player who has huge boom potential in this matchup, but yet also comes with a very low floor, then I'll take the shot with Mike Williams. If it was my roster, again, it depends on the rest of your roster. But there, if I were faced with that situation, I'd personally be rolling with Mike Williams. Full PPR, Jamal Williams, Latavius Murray, or Kerryon Johnson. I will roll out Kerryon Johnson in that situation. I think he's going to be utilized as a pass catcher out of the backfield and has an excellent chance to find the end zone in this one too. Great matchup for opposing running backs. Half PPR, Savon Ahmed or Adrian Peterson. I will play Adrian Peterson in that situation. They're close. They're in the same tier for me, but I will play Adrian Peterson over Savon Ahmed. Pick two, please. Jerry Jeudy, Jalen Reagor, or Kerryon Johnson. In full PPR, I'll play Jerry Jeudy and Kerryon Johnson there. Hey, from Germany, Hawkinson or Goddard. Who is safer or who has higher upside? If you want the safe play, then I think you go with Hawkinson because he brings some guaranteed target volume. Goddard has the boom potential. He has that every single week, but he has a very low floor with Carson Wentz playing the way that he is right now. So I personally... regardless, would be playing TJ Hawkinson over Dallas Goedert. Alex Smith or Stafford. I will play Matthew Stafford in that situation. Antonio Brown or Willie Snead in the flex in a half PPR. I'll play Antonio Brown there. AJ Brown or Chase Claypool. I'll give the slight edge there to Chase Claypool. Half PPR, Jacoby Myers, Damian Harris, or DJ Chark. I will play... Yeah, I'll play Damian Harris there, even though he offers very little upside in the receiving game, or involvement, excuse me. Jacoby Myers, I don't think he's going to see a ton of targets in this one. I don't think New England's going to have to throw the ball a ton. And DJ Chark just comes with a lot of unknowns with the game plan here. Are they going to just try to double team DJ Chark? I have a lot more questions with DJ Chark and Jacoby Myers than I do with Damian Harris. So I'll play it safe there and recommend Harris. Taysom Hill or Joe Burrow. I will play Joe Burrow in that situation. Do I pivot off of... This is a great question. Goodness. Do I pivot off of Will Fuller now that Gilmore is active? Other options are Jalen Reagor or Michael Pittman. So if we took it in a vacuum of the first part of your question there, do I pivot off of Will Fuller now that Gilmore is active? I think you can pivot off of Will Fuller, but it all depends on who you would have to replace him with, which is why I really appreciate you including your other options there, right? It makes it a little bit easier for me to answer. And when you consider that your other options are Jalen Reagor or Michael Pittman Jr., who both have tough cornerback matchups themselves, I will play Will Fuller in that situation. I think that he is the safer option, and there's a pretty big difference in my rankings with Will Fuller. Not expecting a big blow performance here from Will Fuller, but yeah, I think that you can comfortably roll him out still over those other two options. Full PPR, Mike Evans or Robbie Anderson. I'll play Mike Evans there. I don't think either one of these guys comes with a huge ceiling, so not super excited about either one of them. They're in the same range for me in my rankings, but I'll play Mike Evans there. Tyler Boyd, Devontae Parker, Mike Williams in the flex. I'll play Tyler Boyd there. Half PPR, Goddard or Ebron. Oh, man, I really like Eric Ebron this week. I will go still. Oh, man, this is super tough. My rankings right now have Dallas Goedert above Eric Ebron. I know that. Yeah, I have Goddard at 6. I have Ebron at 7. I'm going to switch it here on the live stream. I'm going to play Eric Ebron over Dallas Goedert. Ebron now is my tight end 6 on the week. I will play Eric Ebron over Dallas Goedert this week. Tyler Boyd or Antonio Brown. I'll play Tyler Boyd. Robbie Anderson or Amari Cooper. I will play Amari Cooper in that situation. Both in the same territory, but I think that Amari Cooper comes with at least a little bit more safety. Standard League, Tyler Boyd or Nyheim Hines. I will play Tyler Boyd there. Justin Jefferson or Chase Claypool. I will play Chase Claypool. Hines or Peterson. And a half PPR, I'll play, I will play Adrian Peterson there because, again, I know that he's going to get a ton of work on the ground in this one. In a great matchup, Nyheim Hines, yes, you have the reports. Yes, you have everything that all logic says that Nyheim Hines should be a smash play this week. I can't rely on him. I can't do it. So not above someone like Adrian Peterson. They're in the same range for me, but I'll play Peterson over Nyheim Hines. If you want the upside, I think that you can go with Nyheim Hines because I think he brings a little bit more upside than Adrian Peterson, but I think he brings a lower floor. Austin Hooper, Hayden Hurst, or Noah Fant. All of these guys are like back to back to back in my rankings. I will give the slight edge there to Hayden Hurst. And that is what my rankings say. So, perfect. Amari Cooper or Tyler Boyd. I will play Tyler Boyd there. Robbie Anderson or Will Fuller or T. Higgins. Oh, man. I will play Will Fuller still. In that situation, it's pretty close between Will Fuller and T. Higgins. Robbie Anderson a little bit further down now with P.J. Walker starting at quarterback. So, I'll give a slight edge there to Will Fuller over T. Higgins. In a full PPR, Nyheim Hines or Damian Harris. In a full PPR, I'll give the edge here to Nyheim Hines. Damian Harris, very little involvement in the receiving game, so I don't think that he brings you that same upside that Nyheim Hines does in a full PPR, so I'll go with Hines there. Brandon Cooks or Kareem Hunt in standard, I will go with Kareem Hunt. Full PPR, Todd Gurley, Brandon Cooks, Duke Johnson. You need a win badly. If you need the win, you need to swing for the fences here, then I'll play Brandon Cooks. I talked about the matchup earlier with Will Fuller on Stephon Gilmore, still like Will Fuller, but yet I think that Brandon Cooks has a more favorable cornerback matchup here, so I think you can lean on him a little bit more than you could with someone like Todd Gurley, who I don't like in this matchup, and Duke Johnson, I don't think he offers a ton of upside here, so if you need the upside play, I think you go with Brandon Cooks. Full PPR, Giovanni Bernard or Justin Jefferson. I'll play Justin Jefferson there. Do you play the matchup on Harris or the more certain score from Antonio Gibson? I will play Antonio Gibson here regardless of format. I think that Gibson is a solid play against the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm rolling Antonio Gibson into my lineup wherever I've got him. Half point PPR, CEH or James Robinson. I will play James Robinson there. Half PPR, Antonio Gibson or T. Higgins. I'll play Antonio Gibson. I'll back up what I just said. Robert Woods, Antonio Gibson, or Robbie Anderson, and a half point PPR in the flex. I'll still play Antonio Gibson there. Major question marks with the matchups there with Robert Woods and, of course, with Robbie Anderson and the quarterback situation. Giovanni Bernard or Tyler Boyd in full PPR. I'll start Tyler Boyd. Had to think about that one for a second. Deshaun Watson or Aaron Rodgers. I'll play Deshaun Watson this week. Both those guys are, I think, back-to-back in my rankings, but I'll give the slight edge there to Deshaun Watson. Giovanni Bernard or Amari Cooper. In standard, I will play... I'll play Amari Cooper there. Not excited about Giovanni Bernard. I'll give the slight edge there to Amari Cooper, who I think has a bounce-back game. Relative, right? Not to what we saw with Dak at quarterback, but I do think that he bounces back a little bit this week. Full PPR, Savon Ahmed or Rex Burkhead. In a full PPR, I'll go with Rex Burkhead there. But both those guys are high-end running back threes for me. Calvin Ridley or Robert Woods, I'll play Calvin Ridley there. Adrian Peterson or J.D. McKissick in a full PPR, I'll play J.D. McKissick there. Even in a half PPR. Adrian Peterson or Duke Johnson in a full PPR, I'll play Duke Johnson there. MVS, Alan Lazard or Le'Veon Bell in my flex in a full PPR, I will play Alan Lazard there. Could you please rank Kalen Ballage, Giovanni Bernard, and Duke Johnson in PPR? Okay, so then it would be, for me, it's Duke Johnson, Kalen Ballage, Giovanni Bernard, and then and then wide receivers Michael Thomas or Fuller. And again, greetings from Germany. Thanks for joining us all the way from Germany. Love it. I will play Will Fuller in that situation. Again, I'm not looking to go near Michael Thomas this week. A lot of questions. Nyheim Hines or James Robinson. I will play James Robinson there. He's a safer option. Standard League, Flex, Keenan Allen or CEH. Oh my word, that's Keenan Allen by a mile. I have Keenan Allen as a top 5 receiver this week. Jamison Crowder. Flex PPR, pick one. Jamison Crowder, Devontae Parker, Kalen Ballage, or Giovanni Bernard. I'll play Kalen Ballage in that situation. I think he brings a safe enough floor in the receiving game too. So I think you can roll out Kalen Ballage there. Hayden Hurst or Eric Ebron. I will play Eric Ebron there. Rex Burkhead or Jamal Williams in a full PPR. I'll play Rex Burkhead there. DJ Moore with PJ Walker or Mike Williams against the Jets. I'll play Mike Williams there. I think he comes with a huge blow-up potential. Giovanni Bernard or Darren Waller in the flex. Half PPR. Taysom Hill is in my tight end spot. It's going to be interesting to see how this all works out with Taysom Hill in the tight end spot. I will play, in that situation, I will play Darren Waller. I have Darren Waller as my tight end 2 on the week. Pick 2 in a full PPR, Chark, Robert Woods, or Damian Harris. Grab some water. DJ Chark, Robert Woods, or Damian Harris. In a full PPR, I will play DJ Chark and... Oh, man, this is tough. My gut reaction is to play both wide receivers in a full PPR, but yet I think Damian Harris offers a little bit more safety than Robert Woods this week. Okay, so I have Robert Woods at 23. I have DJ Chark at 25, and then I have Damian Harris at 16 in my running back rankings. I will play Robert Woods and Damian Harris this week. Robbie Anderson or DJ Chark. I will still play Robbie Anderson over DJ Chark. I don't know if Robbie Anderson comes with huge blow-up potential. It's a great matchup. So it all hinges on PJ Walker. And I guess it all depends on who are you more comfortable relying on. Are you more comfortable relying on PJ Walker or Jake Luton? So the matchups here, again, I talked about the Steelers defense, really tough matchup for opposing quarterbacks, but yet the wide receivers have been getting it done for fantasy football with Detroit. I mean, it's a great matchup for opposing wide receivers. So I'll still give the slight edge there to Robbie Anderson, but both of those guys are kind of in that same territory, right? Where it's like, who do I want to lean on as the quarterback? Hello from Latvia. That's awesome. Thank you for joining us. Could you please pick 2 from Cooper Kupp, Tyler Boyd, and Justin Jefferson? I will play Tyler Boyd and Justin Jefferson there. I'm a little bit lower than on Cooper Kupp this week. I still think that he can be a fine wide receiver 2 option, but yet based on what we've seen from this offense here, I can't trust Cooper Kupp just yet until I start to see back-to-back solid games. And again, I mentioned I don't want to go anywhere near Jared Goff in this matchup, so that leaves the wide receivers a little bit lower. Will Fuller or Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson for me. Devontae Parker, DJ Moore, or Travis Fulgham. I will play Devontae Parker in that situation. Jacoby Myers or Duke Johnson. I will play Duke Johnson there. I'll go just a few more questions here, guys. Nyheim Hines or James Robinson. I answered this one earlier. It's James Robinson. A.J. Brown or Deontay Johnson. I'll play Deontay Johnson. Robert Woods, Chark, or Jacoby Myers in half PPR. I'll play Robert Woods there. But I have Woods, I just mentioned 23, Chark 25. Myers is at like 32 in my rankings. Full PPR, Robert Woods or Giovanni Bernard. Oh, it's super tough. I'll go with Giovanni Bernard there. And Hunter Henry or Dallas Goedert, I'll go with Hunter Henry. Antonio Gibson or Mike Davis, I'll go with... It's a good question, actually. I don't know off the top of my head. I think I have Mike Davis ahead. I do. I have Mike Davis one spot ahead of Antonio Gibson. I'll play him. Chris Godwin or Duke Johnson in the standard flex. I'll play Chris Godwin there. Should I start DJ Moore or CeeDee Lamb? I will play CeeDee Lamb there. Let's go one more question. Let's make it a good one. Travis Fulgham or Kerryon Johnson for the flex in a full PPR. I'm going to play Kerryon Johnson there in a full PPR. I think he has enough involvement out of the backfield as a receiver. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for dealing with my allergies this morning, randomly kicking up. So appreciate it. Guys, again, I love being with you here on the live stream audience. Appreciate you hanging out with Dan and Tags this week as they stepped in for me as we navigate the weird year that is 2020. So guys, again, before we head out, just hit the subscribe button. Helps us out in a huge way. Really appreciate you taking some time to spend with me here. And then like this video, hit the like button on this video, and you can find and follow me on Twitter and also on Instagram at KyleYNFL. Go enjoy your matchups. Make sure to have that New Orleans Saints Atlanta Falcons game on here to see what the heck Sean Payton does with Taysom Hill. It's going to be a ton of fun, guys. Enjoy your football.